welcome to Week and Geek, your new comic preview for July 6th. I'm Mike Ortiz.
I'm the Chris Brown.
So what do you got this time?
Well, I'm feeling like I'm going to start to be like a broken record here in the summer because we're stacked up with events and all these other things. So I feel like I just keep saying Fear Itself, Flashpoint, Fear Itself, Flashpoint, Board Itself, Flashpoint. So we're starting out with Fear Itself number 4. Some big things happened in the last issue. So let's see what's going forward. I'm not seeing anything in the solicitations to make me believe that didn't happen. I know there are some people that are skeptical about it. There are now rumors that there's going to be another big character killed off in the course of this Fear Itself, and I guess we'll get to that soon enough and see who that might be. So starting off with that Fear Itself 4, now Flashpoint. on to the Flashpoint. After that last issue, that number 2, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do with the number 3 here. That was kind of big, like holy crap, it's supposed to be Barry's story, and what just happened? So I can't have seen what I just thought I saw. A
very clever and unexpected twist, and now I'm curious to see what's next.
Yeah, because all the miniseries have been great, like Secret 7. Kind of focused on, that other batch, the mysterious characters, the mystery characters, the magic characters. Pretty fun stuff, and I think that's certainly going to be bleeding back into the Marvel Universe when this is all said and done.
Universe.
Or DC Universe. Who knows? Who knows what the hell they're doing? I have no clue. So, I'm really looking forward to that one. And then the second issue of World of Flashpoint. I'm not entirely sure what happened in the first one. I liked it. Who was that girl? Do we know who the girl was? Do I not know enough about the DC Universe? Clearly not if I'm calling it the Marvel Universe.
Yeah. Maybe that's the problem.
So I'm not really sure who she was, but it was interesting, and it looked like it was setting something up and going to play into the story. Be some fun there. Now we're switching over to the Marvel Universe. Heroes for Hire number 9. Once again, I've been liking this book. That with the last issue there was that big Spider-Man crossover, and still kind of rolling forward with that. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they do here. I think it should be fun. And yeah, what mystery are they building here with the whole thing with Paladin and Misty Knight's been fun. Then Moon Knight number 3. I am not entirely sure I know what's going on.
Me either.
I really like Maylee's artwork. I really like A Story with Ultron. I thought that the first 2 issues have been interesting, but I don't know what the hell's going on.
This is probably the craziest interpretation of Moon Knight, at least that I've seen. I haven't read all of them, but he's not just a guy with multiple personalities that maybe they're just different people. Yeah, he's actually legitimately crazy.
Like nuts. Yeah, really crazy. And that first issue with him like being a celebrity in the TV show was kind of a different, like really? Okay.
A very different take on Moon Knight.
They're making the superheroes less and less like me as time goes on, and more like the people that are making the movies of the superheroes. Then Vengeance. It's a story about the baddies. It's a story about Magneto. Something happens with a runaway mutant, and Magneto is trying to catch her, and more will ensue. Something about some young mutant heroes and some other group of like a new brotherhood maybe. So that should be interesting and fun, and looking forward to that. Superboy number 9. I like this book. I really like this book a lot. I'm not entirely sure what's going to happen when the new DC Universe takes over in September. I mean, we're still going to get Connor. What's going on? This story here with the Phantom Stranger has been really cool. Jeff Lemire's been telling a great story and leading up to some, I don't know, which I hope is a really cool conclusion if that's the end of this arc of Superboy. That's so new Superboy this week. Continuing with more Jeff Lemire, Sweet Tooth. I like this book. It is also weird. It is interesting though, thought-provoking. It's not entirely, the characters aren't entirely what they looked like in the very beginning. It's a little more than just animal children. It's, yes, it's post-apocalyptic, but it is intriguing, and I like the characters. Even the characters that they set you up not to like at first, they kind of bring it around and unravel a little more mystery, and I like it. Sweet Tooth's been good. Green Wake. I am filled with books this week that I don't know what the hell's going on. I like it. I actually just caught up with the previous issues of Green Wake over the weekend, and it's a mystery. It's kind of a horror thing now. It's not that Wrist Cutter's a love story that it looked like before. Yes, it's wayward people, it's lost people. But there's maybe a little bit more to that. They get lost in this place because of loss, and then in trying to find each other, they become more and more crazy and perhaps start to turn into frog people. Oh, okay. All right. So that's what I'm looking at. What do you got this week? I hope you can understand your books better than I can understand mine.
Actually, I'm starting off with Chew.
Okay.
And the last issue of Chew might have been a little tough to understand because that's where they jumped ahead in time.
Yes.
To an issue that should have been released a couple of years from now.
It was issue 22
22, 27, something like that. So now we're back in time, back in the present. You can see what's going to lead to that.
Yes.
This is a trick that Image did many years ago, I believe.
Did they? With what other book?
There was some. This was back in the '90s. There were some books
Okay.
that jumped ahead, and then they had to lead up to that point. Stormwatch, I think, did that.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yep.
So not terribly successfully either, but I have faith that these guys will actually make this story work.
Because it also didn't not feel like the next issue.
Right. You understood what was going on, kind of.
Yeah, and it was just telling you something that was going to. It wasn't literally just
It's
the
like
issue from the future.
Memento, but with comic books.
Yeah. Yes.
Next up, Irredeemable: The Continuing Adventures of Evil Superman and the Evil Justice League. It's evil, and it's a lot of fun. Next up, we've got Moriarty. This has been a pretty solid series overall. I like Sherlock Holmes, and this is really just the adventures of Sherlock Holmes' greatest nemesis once Sherlock Holmes is out of the picture. And it's basically he gets to investigate a mystery.
All right.
So what that mystery is, it ties into Bond and probably his last encounter with, not Bond, with Sherlock Holmes.
Oh, okay. Well, that all goes on in the Marvel Universe.
But there is actually, right. I mean, if you like League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, things like that, that sort of time period, good book overall.
It's been pretty popular. Everyone that I know that's reading it says they like it.
Next up is Batman and Robin. This is continuing the team up with Dick Grayson, Damian Wayne, and Jason Todd, three of the people who have worn the mantle of Robin. This has been a pretty good book so far. I mean, there's an interesting dynamic with these three. The modern Robin, two of the previous Robins. None of them really care for each other or like each other that much. But it's created an interesting dynamic. I think it would be interesting if they brought in Red Robin and Batgirl, since both of them have formerly been Robins.
This is true.
And maybe if they got rid of Damian, they could start a team called the X-Robins. And cross
just
over
start a band.
Huge franchises. Next up is Abin Sur, the Green Lantern. This is the Flashpoint issue. Once again, Abin Sur looks like he does in the movie.
Yeah.
This is kind of covering a different part. Flashpoint has been focused on Earth. The first issue had them kind of out in space. Sinestro's in it. Atrocitus is in it, and Sinestro. I think it's Sinestro that is looking into the prophecy of the Flashpoint, instead of the prophecy of the Blackest Night. So how all this kind of dovetails into what's going on Earth, we'll see. How it connects to the Hal Jordan Flashpoint book, I guess we'll see also. But if you're
guessing Hal becomes a Green Lantern at some point, because it looked like Abin Sur was in a little trouble in the first one.
It looked like it, but who knows? This is everything's new here. It's all crazy.
Fair enough.
Next up is Red Skull. I've always loved the Red Skull. He's one of the great iconic villains. And even though we've seen his origin many times in the past, going all the way back to the Golden Age, this seems like a kind of a new, interesting take. The cover by David Aja is absolutely fantastic. That alone sold it. And I believe Greg Pak is writing this, and he's been doing a great job. A lot of the people at Marvel, guys like Greg Pak, Dan Slott, Abnett and Lanning, some of these guys handling these mid-level books, the second-tier books, are really doing a great job. And I think that's why Marvel is really beating DC month after month in sales, not because of the sales at the top end. or they're pretty comparable. I think DC typically gets more of the top 10 slots than Marvel does. It's just once you get out of that, once you get into those mid-list books by these guys, they're clicking pretty good. I mean, if Bendis and Fraction and those guys are the architects, these guys are the ones who are actually building the building. They're doing the heavy lifting for the Marvel Universe and doing a great job of it. From Red Skull to Red Hulk.
All right.
We had a little diversion. We had to run out to Planet Red Hulk for a couple of issues, but now I think we're back. Everything's got to be red, and everything's got to have a planet. Yeah. But I think we're going to be back on track, back to the normal storyline. Marvel double shipping a lot of books. They had to slip in a few things here and there to sort of pad out their 14 issues. But this has been a great book. Jeff Parker's doing a great job. Again, I'm still surprised that I'm enjoying a book featuring the Red Hulk, but I am. It's good stuff. Next up is Uncanny X-Men. This is a Fear Itself crossover, or a tie-in. To be honest, with some of that double shipping, I'm not really caught up on X-Men. I think one's been coming out every other week, so I'm still at the end of the
it's the new
previous storyline. Yeah, every X book gets a bunch of issues. But overall, Kieran Gillen's been doing a good job, and I've heard mostly good things about the people who are reading tie-ins to Fear Itself. I'm not really reading very many myself.
That's what I'm hearing.
So how the X-Men factor into this, because that's certainly not something that's being touched on in the regular book.
Right, and I don't think one of their characters gets a hammer, right?
Well, this one has Juggernaut.
Oh, that's okay. So
hammer.
Fair enough. That's right.
So yeah, I'm really curious to see how that plays out. Next up is X-Men. This is the conclusion of the storyline. The Evolution storyline takes place in the past and the present. There's some revelations that are going to be happening in this issue. Overall, I've not been as thrilled with this as I was by the earlier arcs, the Victor Gischler stuff. This is still by Craig Yost, I think. Chris Yost.
Chris Yost.
Whatever. It's not Gischler. Gischler's what sold me on the book. Gischler and Vampires. This book has neither. It's been pretty good, but if it doesn't pick up, it's probably on the chopping block. And I don't even know if this has any future with the big shakeup coming in the X-Men books down the road.
Right.
So that's the bulk of my stack.
Okay, the top of my stack here, I've got Screamland #2. Now, there was also my top pick in the first week because I like monsters. And I was kind of excited about it. And I remembered reading, the first couple issues of the miniseries that they had done. And I liked the art and thought it was fun. And that first issue was awesome. I mean, you've got the Universal monsters. Imagine the old classic movie monsters were actors. The monsters themselves became actors. They get these jobs, but once, the monster period is over, what are they left to do? They're just taking any job they can, so they all meet up at a comic convention, and it's revealed that there's an old sex tape from a party that they'd had in the 70s. Someone's going to reveal it. And then the thing ends with a murder, and now the second issue is a murder mystery. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how this story arc wraps up. It's really fun. It's kind of turning the archetypes on its ear a little bit, kind of messing around with the monster mythos, and I think that's fun.
Kind of a Roger Rabbit, but with monsters.
Totally, absolutely, yes. And porn.
And porn. That's a great combination. Why didn't somebody think of this before?
I don't know, but we got it now.
And it sounds like a TV pitch, if you're asking me. My top book is Elric from IDW. They've been doing a good job with some of the fantasy stuff that they've been doing. Okay. I'm not a big Elric fan. I've never read any of the books by Michael Moorcock. I remember reading the comics from First Comics many years ago and enjoying those quite a bit. So strangely, I don't have a lot of reason why this is the pick, other than this is the one that I'm most curious about. I think everything else that I'm getting this week, everything else I'm looking at is all stuff that's kind of normally in my wheelhouse, but I don't know, for some reason I've just got a fixin' for some sword and sorcery, and hopefully I'll get it out of this book.
I think you will. It's got, like you said, it's got a long history, and if you're going into the Elric, you kind of know what you're getting ahead of time, and if you don't, you're still going to get something awesome because it does have a history of that sword and sorcery and fun, and that's why they're bringing it back.
So and that's why it's my top pick.
Excellent. Well, I hope everyone had a happy 4th of July weekend, and we're back into the swing of things, and that is your Week in Geek.